It's the most powerful show on television. High drama with intense energy. A show dedicated to a few brave souls who risk their lives for the sake of their craft. Its in-depth reporting goes to the core and unlocks the mysteries behind today's raciest sport. Motorsports. Catch it when you can.
The Speed Station welcomes you to Daytona International Speedway for the running of the Blue-Green Vacations Heats. In the race analysis, today's two heats are 40 laps apiece with a stage caution coming on lap number 26 of each event, setting the field up for a 10-lap dash to the finish. Today we have 64 cars trying to make 41 spots. Obviously that means several cars are going home. This is in fact the largest entry list for a Daytona 500 since the year 2007. And much like a normal points race in the NASCAR Cup Series, this race can in fact end under caution if we get a yellow flag near the end of either heat. And now let's get on to the results of single car qualifying, and we'll take a look at the two drivers who are guaranteed spots into the 500. The driver that won the pole for the 63rd annual running of the Daytona 500 is Joey Logano, the driver of the number 22 Team Penske Pennzoil Ford. So he does not need to worry about today's Blue-Green Vacations Heats, as he is guaranteed a spot into the Daytona 500. This pole spot also guarantees him a spot in the Busch Clash of 2022. And the driver who won the outside pole for the Daytona 500 is the driver of the number 9 car, Chase Elliott, the two-time former Daytona 500 pole sitter. This is quite the comeback for Elliot after finishing 27th in points last season and missing the Daytona 500. Elliot does not need to even worry about the Blue-Green Vacations Heats. He is guaranteed a spot into this year's 500, and just like Logano, he is also guaranteed a position in the 2022 Busch Clash at the Daytona International Speedway road course. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Daytona International Speedway, back in the Cup Series ride-along car on the Daytona International Speedway oval layout. Like I mentioned, we have 64 cars going for 41 spots here today. The starting lineup will be determined through the qualifying session that was ran earlier this morning, the Blue-Green Vacations Heats, which we'll be seeing coming up, and the Xfinity Eliminator, which is practically a last-chance qualifier for the field. Like I mentioned during the Camping World Truck Series broadcast of the Kinetic Gasket Heats, it is perfectly legal to dip below the yellow line to try and advance your position. However, it is definitely not recommended, because if I try to enter the corner like this, it might upset the car if you have 3 or 4 cars on your outside. You know, if you're getting so aggressive, trying to widen the track out a little bit, you might end up with 4 cars on your outside trying to make a 5-wide move on the bottom. Certainly not recommended. You might end up wasting several $1 million of not just your own money. But anyway, here we go, flying lap at Daytona. Try to keep the car right on the bottom. I expect this race to be, both races to be a little bit less aggressive than the Camping World Truck Series races we just saw. Mainly because the Camping World Truck Series is full of rookies, a lot of drivers with, inexperience relatively in comparison. Today we have the big stars in the NASCAR Cup Series out here. They know how to get it done here. Except for the Xfinity Eliminator. Expect massive intensity there, because the only driver that makes it in to the 500 through that race is the winner. So everybody's going to be fighting tooth and nail for the top spot. Try to keep the car painting that yellow line down on the bottom. This is practically a qualifying lap. Coming out of turn number 4, like I said, for the Camping World Truck Series race, smooth surface, repaved in the last 10 years. And that is a lap around the Daytona International Speedway Oval in the NASCAR Cup Series car. This week in motorsports, we saw a new technology from Whelen Engineering make its broadcasting debut. It is being nicknamed the Command-Controlled Caution System. Essentially, it is a software program ran on a computer in the control tower here at Daytona International Speedway, which when an official types in a certain set of commands, it will activate all of the caution lights surrounding the facilities, warning the drivers of the yellow flag, essentially warning them to slow down. So if you see a window similar to this appear during any of our broadcasts this season, it is the command-controlled caution system utilized by NASCAR, developed by Whelen Engineering to further the safety technology in all of motorsports. The starting lineup for heat number 1 was determined by single-car qualifying, with Joey Logano starting first with Chase Briscoe in second. Then Ankrum third, Ty Dillon fourth, last season's 500 pole sitter. Landon Castle fifth, Norm Benning with a great qualifying position inside row in sixth. Martin Truex Jr. in seventh, Brendan Poole in eighth, Austin Cindric ninth, and Myatt Snider rounding out the top 10. So now let's get down trackside for the command.
Gentlemen, start your engines!
Nice and easy, long day. It's going to be a lot of adjustments. It's going to be a lot of fun, guys. This is a real race here. We're going to have a blast tonight. I can't wait to get out there and get going.
And the green flag is waving for heat number 1 here at Daytona. 22 car of Logano off to a great start. Ankrum hanging back. Logano up to the outside line, trying to put a block on the 53 car. Ankrum and Castle working together on the bottom. Now Ankrum down to the inside, picking up where he left off at Texas World Speedway last season, trying to take the lead down the back stretch. But here comes Landon Castle trying to get that run with a 30 car of Brendan Poole. Poole now down to the inside. Tyler Ankrum taking the race lead down to turn number 3. The pack has already formed up with groups of 3 wide racing. Brendan Poole on the inside going for the race lead against the 26 car of Ankrum. Side by side down to the start-finish line. I believe it might have been Ankrum to lead lap number 1. It was a very close finish. The nod has been given to the 26. Here comes Martin Truex Jr. on the bottom. Truex did not make the Daytona 500 in any of the last 2 seasons, trying to make it here in 2020. Down the long back straightaway. Here comes the 21 car of Cindric on the inside. Austin Cindric for the Wood Brothers, taking the race lead through 3 and 4. Anthony Alfredo, the rookie, on the bottom in the number 38. Up in the second, now challenging Cindric for the top spot. At the line, it was a close race for the lead, but it was won by Austin Cindric. Here comes the 41 car of Cole Custer to the bottom. 4 wide racing already in the back. David Reagan trying to make up spots on the inside of Sauter, Harrison Burton, and Eric Almirola, as now Bubba Wallace to the inside. Wallace getting the push from Jamie McMurray in the number 25 car for GMS. McMurray moves to the middle to Benedetto now on the bottom, as Bubba Wallace now holds the race lead to number 23. Wallace missed the Daytona 500 last season for Richard Petty Motorsports, this year trying to make it for a brand new team, co-owned by Michael Jordan and Denny Hamlin, as now the Team Penske number 2 trying to take the top spot. Wallace leads at the line. Down into turn number 1, it's going to be the 2 car of DiBenedetto currently leading, but Reddick on the inside line going for the top spot. The field still running 4 wide at the moment. Stephen Parsons, the Next Air Energy 250 pole sitter, challenging Reddick down the backstretch. Reddick stuck in the middle. No drafting help for the 8 car. Magnuson. Oh, and they wreck already. 4 wide just does not work here. Is now Gregson up into the wall. Kyle Busch involved. The 19. Several cars spinning down off the apron. And now in the race back to the start-finish line, Magnuson to the inside of the 09 of Parsons. At the stripe, Jan Magnuson, the Busch Clash winner, is your race leader. Above the 09 car of Stephen Parsons, the 43 of Snyder, the 36 of David Reagan, and the 30 of Brendan Poole. Well, 4 wide only works for so long here, as 2 Camping World Truck Series regulars Johnny Sauter and Timothy Peters squeeze up into each other. The 44 carries the 87 up to the outside wall. Custer forced into the wall. The 19 of Truex gets sent around. Then the 87 makes hard contact with the 62. Noah Gragson up into the wall with the 41. Then closer to the back of the field, you have the 19 car almost going upside down because of the difference between the apron and the high banks. The 61 car of Christopher Bell gets some slight damage, the Geico 500 winner from last season. And the 21 of Austin Cindric gets high-centered on the banking. Remember that 20 cars will advance to the Daytona 500 in this race. We have one car locked in, that being Joey Logano. And because Logano is on the outside of the top 20, currently the final transfer spot is being held by Tyler Ankrum in 19th. Most of the leaders are staying out. However, some of the back of the field is coming down pit road, including Bubba Wallace, Cole Custer, and several of the drivers that got slight crash damage from the incident. You know, for the last 2 seasons, Kyle Busch has won his respective heat race here at Daytona, except now, just coming off pit road after getting the 18 car repaired from the incident, he now sits 1 lap down. Looks like any chance for winning might be out of the question, but they're just hoping to make that top 20 spot in advance if another crash happens and enough cars drop back, because I really doubt them getting back on the lead lap. And worst case scenario, they have to try and win the Xfinity Eliminator, the 10-lap dash after Heat 2, to make it in. All right, so the 2 cars that have dropped out of the race are the 87 of Timothy Peters and the 62 of Noah Gragson. Those 2 are going to have to try to advance through the Xfinity Eliminator. And remember, in that race, only one driver makes it into the Daytona 500, and that is the race winner. So already, 2 drivers who are guaranteed in to that race, and only one of them makes it out. How about the 1990 Daytona 500 winner and 2019 runner-up? Derrick Cope in the number 98 for Shepherd Racing Ventures, currently runs an ace spot. Shepherd Racing Ventures are attempting to field a second car in a cup race for the first time in their whole team's history. Derrick Cope trying to make what could potentially be his final career start, attempting to make the 500, and then if he gets there, going to try and win his second. Came awfully close back in 2019. 1 more lap, and he could have beaten Brad Keselowski, but the 2019 running ended under caution. You may notice some enhanced quality in today's broadcast of the Blue Green Vacations Duels here at Daytona. For the first time, Speed Station is utilizing 60 frame-a-second cameras all around Daytona International Speedway, hopefully providing a much crisper and clearer picture. Green flag. Parsons gets the jump on Jan Magnussen on the restart, already trying to make a look up to the outside. Now the crossover to the inside for the 09 car. David Reagan cuts down to the bottom to try to work with the 09 of Parsons. Phoenix Racing has just taken the race lead with the number 09 of Stephen Parsons. Here comes the 36 of David Reagan on the bottom. LGR and Front Row Motorsports fielding that car in a cooperative operation. Reagan doesn't have very much help down on the inside line, but he's still going to try and make the move stick. Derrick Cope now jumps to the bottom. Cope on the inside, drafting up to the 36 car. Down the front stretch, David Reagan is now your race leader. To the stripe, though, it's going to be a close race for the top spot. Might have been Parsons to lead the lap. Yes, it was. The number 09 car led at the stripe. David Reagan still battling him down to turn number 1. Reagan now out front. Derrick Cope up into second. Currently, some of your notable drivers on the outside looking in include Cole Custer, the 42 car of Justin Allgaier, the 44 of Johnny Sauter, and then the rest of the cars that are 1 lap down include names such as Truex, your defending champion Kyle Busch, and the Xfinity Series champion Austin Cindric. Is now Cope your leader for the moment. Fincham on the inside going for the spot. Chad Fincham, the rookie in the number 46, now out front. Here comes Almirola on the inside. 3 wide down to the stripe. At the line, scoring gives it to Derrick Cope to lead the lap. The middle line just broke up. Cope and Almirola side by side for the top spot. 26 car of Ankrum. With some of that front end damage from the previous incident, now challenging Derrick Cope for second position. Down the backstretch, though, here comes Cope with a big push from the 2. DiBenedetto helping Derrick Cope down the back straightaway. Almirola still not with a very well formed up inside line. Cope and Almirola side by side down the front straightaway for the top spot. DiBenedetto still giving that 98 car a push. Looks like it's going to be Cope to lead at the line. Down the front stretch, the 98 car still trying to clear the 10. Looks like he's going to do it. Derrick Cope still out front in the number 98. The last two Daytona 500 runner-ups, Derrick Cope and Chase Briscoe, now up into the top 5. Cope, your race leader, the 53 car trying to make up spots on the bottom. Here comes Briscoe. Doesn't have much help from Norm Benning behind him, but still trying to make a pass for third spot. DiBenedetto up to the back bumper of the 98. Derrick Cope putting on a show for the fans here at Daytona. The 62-year-old still leading the field in the number 98 for Morgan Shepherd. To the inside, here comes the 10 car of Almirola, battling for second spot with the 2 of Matt DiBenedetto. Down the long back straightaway, here comes the 53 car up to the bumper of the 10. Almirola now to the inside of Derrick Cope. Looks like Almirola is easily going to take the top spot with a push from the 53 of Chase Briscoe. Briscoe, though, already trying to force the 10 car off the bottom. Almirola up to the outside to block. Briscoe going to challenge him for the race lead down the front stretch. At the stripe, it was Almirola to lead the lap. Briscoe getting the push from the 09, now forced into the middle. Briscoe put into the sucker hole as now Stephen Parsons takes the race lead. Norm Benning up into second in his cell phone number 84. Benning down the back straightaway, getting the push from Christopher Bell, the Geico 500 winner from last season in the number 61. Bell was actually involved in the incident much earlier in the race, but now racing for a top 5 spot. Parsons still your race leader as the 84 and 53 battle for second. Down the front stretch, Parsons up to the middle lane to block. Now cuts back down to the bottom. Parsons just a little bit too far out front. The pack's going to be getting a pretty big run entering turn number 1. Here comes Benning down on the inside, side by side with Parsons. Down the back straightaway, Benning into the middle lane. Here comes Christopher Bell on the bottom, getting the push from the damaged number 26. Phoenix Racing really coming back to NASCAR strong. They've already won the Camping World Truck Series pole spot, and now controlling the field here in heat number 1 at Daytona. Now, just to remind you, at home, that the field does have to make one pit stop in stage number 1, as now Parsons gets hung out. Huge run built up by the 53 car on the outside. Briscoe, down the backstretch, is going to take the race lead with a strong push coming from the 10 of Eric Almirola. All the cars on the inside, they're trying to help the 09 have damage. That's why the run fell apart for Parsons. Now Almirola to the inside. Certain cars are signaling that they're going to be hitting pit road this time by. I wonder if this is going to be a fake out. No, here comes the 26 down pit road. 4 wide racing in the back. At the stripe, it's the 53 car to lead the lap, as there's now about 2 rows going 4 wide. Magnuson part of the mess. Couple cars running onto the apron to try and avoid a potential accident. Turns out they started it. Cars go up into the wall. Johnny Sauter involved. The 71 involved as well, as Alfredo slides off the banking. Yellow flag is waving here at Daytona. The race back to the flag. Currently we have the 53 and the 10 cars leading. Lap car up in front of the field, that being the 21 of Austin Cindric. They're going to try and split him. Cindric drops through the middle, just barely slows up the 31 and 23. Almirola now your race leader. Down to the start-finish line, Almirola goes up to the outside to block. To the stripe, it is Aric Almirola, your race leader. So it was Almirola above Briscoe, Parsons, Derrick Cope, and the 30 of Brennan Poole. So Ankrum's strategy was actually kind of perfect because he jumped out of the pack and pitted the same lap that they crashed. That means he's going to be able to stay out on this caution, at least logically, unless they want to repair some of the damage on the 26. And then he could pit at the end of stage number 1 and get set up for the finish. So this might have worked out in the favor of Tyler Ankrum. So we saw this in heat number 1 in the Camping World Truck Series. Alfredo and Kurt Busch try to go below the yellow line to back out and avoid an accident. Instead, they slide up back into the pack and create one. As the 38 car clips the 44 of Sauter, sends the 71 of Blicky up into the wall. Fincham as well involved, some slight damage for the 8 car of Reddick. Looks like Cody Ware might have gotten the 51 car slowed up enough to miss this incident. But Kurt Busch was actually just lucky enough to miss the crash. And let's go on board with the number 51 of Cody Ware. He was lucky that he got the car slowed up enough to not ram the 8 car of Reddick. You know, Johnny Sauter's already had a pretty tough speed weeks. He DNQ'd for the Next Air Energy 250 Camping World Truck Series race in his number 13 for ThorSport. Now trying to hang on to a transfer spot for the Daytona 500. The 26 car did in fact stay out. So that means that Tyler Ankrum will be your race leader. But the first car off pit road was the 53 car of Chase Briscoe above the 10 of Almirola, the 09 of Parsons, the 98 of Derrick Cope, and the 36 of David Reagan. All right, so we've had one more car drop out of the race, that being the 46 of Chad Fincham. He is officially going to have to try to race his way in through the Xfinity Eliminator. Lights are off on the pace car this time by. We are going to have 5 laps to go in stage number 1. Green flag is out. Ankrum with a great jump on the restart. Remember that he's got some aerodynamic damage. He's going to have to get as much as he can get out of this restart as possible. Because once they get up to speed, that 26 car practically has a parachute on it. As now, here comes the 10 car of Almirola down to the inside of the 53 for second. Aric Almirola up into second position for Stewart Haas Racing, already with the run down to the inside of Ankrum. Almirola with the push from Stephen Parsons down the back straightaway. Parsons, though, trying to make it 3 wide into 3. Couldn't quite do it as the 10 car tried to shut the door on him. But now, here comes the 09 to the inside. Side drafting the 10, just barely making contact. As now the 09 getting the push from the 36 of David Reagan. At the stripe, it is Stephen Parsons to lead lap number 22. To the inside comes David Reagan. Reagan getting the push from the 30 of Brennan Poole through 1 and 2. Poole, though, already makes a look down to the inside. On Point Motorsports trying to make their first ever Cup Series start and trying to make it in the biggest race of the season. But here comes the 31 car of Ty Dillon for Germain Racing. Getting the push from Magnuson. Down to the inside comes Dillon. 3 wide move for the top spot. Ty Dillon is now out front. I see potential 4 wide racing trying to form in the back of this pack. Magnuson, the Busch Clash winner, on the bottom. Ty Dillon led at the start-finish line. Just 3 laps to go in stage 1. The field trying to get everything they can get out of this first stage, setting themselves up for the 10-lap dash to the finish. Kurt Busch on the bottom. 3 wide, getting pushed by Norm Benning. All Chevrolets with the exception of one Toyota now as Poole jumps down to the inside. Poole trying to make it work, although the inside line is not very well formed. Poole, though, going side by side with Jan Magnuson. Magnuson's got some drafting help up on the outside line of Myatt Snyder. And now Ty Dillon in the 31 car now pushing Magnuson down the front stretch. The 33 car of Magnuson led at the line. Here comes the 2 car of DiBenedetto trying to give a push to the 30. Magnuson tries to cut down to the bottom to block. Can't quite do it. Brendan Poole forcing the issue down the back straightaway. But here comes DiBenedetto trying to make it 3 wide on the bottom. DiBenedetto's got a little bit of help coming from Kurt Busch, although they're not very well organized. Into turn number 3, the 2 car for Team Penske trying to take up the top spot. Side by side with Magnuson. Busch really nowhere near the 2 car enough to help him. But still, for the moment, DiBenedetto holding the lead. Magnuson going to get a push on the outside from the 31. At the stripe, it was still Magnuson to lead the lap. Final lap in stage number 1. Magnuson and DiBenedetto battling side by side for the race lead. Now the 30 hooks up with the 2 car. Trying to push Matt DiBenedetto down the back straightaway. Attempting to clear Jan Magnuson. Down the back stretch, the 30 jumps down to the inside. The 33 car of Magnuson clears the field, entering turn number 3 with a push from the 31 of Ty Dillon. Brennan Poole up into second for the moment. Down to the start-finish line, Magnuson has to play a game of defense. And picking up one where he left off in the Busch Clash, Magnuson wins stage number 1 here at Daytona for Heat 1. It was Magnuson above Matt DiBenedetto, then Brennan Poole, Ty Dillon, and Myatt Snyder. And by the way, I believe that Jamie McMurray, even with severe rear-end damage, drove his way up into 14th spot. Good run for GMS's second car. And Ankrum, after staying out and assuming the lead, finished stage 1 in 15th. So they're still in some of the transfer positions. The pole sitter Logano also as well up into the transfer spot. So the final transfer position moves down to 20th. That's currently held by the 71 of Josh Bilicki for Tommy Baldwin Racing. This is actually, as a broadcast company, our second iteration of massive broadcast developments when it comes to the camera footage and the productions that we put out to the world. Back in 2019, at Homestead, Miami, we switched over to HD cameras. Now here at Daytona for Speed Weeks, we switched to 60 frame a second HD cameras. So I hope everybody's been enjoying the crisper footage that they're getting out of this telecast. Magnuson gets off pit road with a fuel-only stop, makes contact with Tyler Reddick coming out of pit road. Magnuson also gets stopped up by the 95, but still, Magnuson, first car out of the pits, above David Reagan, Matt DiBenedetto, Ty Dillon, and the 30 car, Brendan Poole. And NY Racing with ThorSport just pulled off a lightning-fast pit stop, picking Johnny Sauter up 4 positions, and he is now running an 18th in one of the transfer positions. In fact, they got Sauter out even in front of the 8 and 22 cars. Lights are off on the pace car this time by. We are set up for a 10-lap dash to the finish of heat number 1. Magnuson is currently your leader under caution above David Reagan, Matt DiBenedetto, Ty Dillon, and Brendan Poole. One of the most notable stories of the drivers on the outside looking in is the number 23 car of Bubba Wallace, that team being found over the course of the offseason by Denny Hamlin, the winningest driver last season with 4 wins, and NBA legend Michael Jordan. Bubba failed to make the Daytona 500 last season in the 43 car for RPM, trying to make it this year with a brand new team, although they don't have a hood on that 23 car, nor do they have a front clip, so they're going to have to hope to stay in line and draft off people because that car certainly can't lead. Green flag. A fairly even restart for the front runners. The 36 car up to the back bumper, the 33 down the front stretch, now down to the inside. Here comes David Reagan, and as well Brennan Poole trying to take a look on the bottom of Ty Dillon. Poole with a 3-wide move, trying to take up second in that 30 car. Derrick Cope also getting up to the back bumper of the 30, now attempting to take up third. Battle down the back straightaway for the top spot, side by side between Reagan and Brennan Poole. Looks like Poole's going to take it with a push from Derrick Cope. Brendan Poole back out front. Derrick Cope up into second. Stephen Parsons into third. Here comes Cope on the inside. Trying to side draft the 30 car. Exiting turn number 4. Cope going for the top spot. And the 98 car was the leader at the start-finish line. The 09 car now takes a look down to the inside. Here comes Stephen Parsons on the inside line, taking the race lead in the 09 car for Phoenix Racing. The 43 for Richard Petty Motorsports of Myatt Snyder, after almost winning the Busch Clash, held the lead on the back straightaway on the final lap, lost out on a 3-wide pass by Magnuson. Now down the back stretch, getting a push by the 1 car of Kurt Busch, trying to take the top spot off the 09. That 43 car's got that rear spoiler knocked back just a little bit. That might be a bit of an advantage. A little bit less rear end downforce, but still higher straightaway speed. As now the 43 car takes up the top spot. The 1 car of Kurt Busch inside line in second place. At the stripe, it was the 43 to lead the lap. Here comes Kurt Busch with the run coming from Norm Benning, although Benning trying to send it, entering turn number 1. Benning on the inside line, getting a push from the 51 of Cody Ware. Behind Ware is the 25 car of Jamie McMurray, trying to make his first Cup start in a number of years. The 43 car of Snyder playing defense down the backstretch, went up to the outside line to block Stephen Parsons. Got a little bit of a large separation above the pack. Pack's going to get a big run coming out of turn number 4, Benning up into second. Benning up to the middle line to block Kurt Busch, trying to cut back down to the the inside line. The middle line starting to fall apart. The 09 car getting a huge run from the push from the 98 of Derrick Cope. The 43 car of Snyder still playing defense, controlling the lanes. That knockback rear spoiler might really be an advantage for the 43. He's able to hold the lead very well down the straightaways as here comes the 09 to the inside. He's built up a run. See there, Brendan Poole tries to jump to the middle, separating with Derrick Cope. The 09 car of Stephen Parsons trying to clear the 43 out of turn 4. It looks like he's done it. Down to the start-finish line. Cope trying to give that 43 car a push. 3 wide for the lead by Benning. At the line, it's being given to the 43 of Snyder to lead the lap. Here comes Norm Benning on the inside. Benning is going to take up the top spot, exiting turn number 2, trying to make his first Cup start since 1993. Benning getting the push from the 51 of Cody Ware. But look at Cope hooking up with the 43 car on the outside line. That 98 car has been a great pusher all day. Remember that Kyle Busch is actually 1 lap down in that 18 car, but he is back up into the lead draft, hoping to get back on the lead lap. That inside line starting to fall apart just a little bit. Parsons cuts down to the inside. At the stripe, it was again the 43 to lead the lap. Parsons trying to make it work. Just 5 laps to go here at Daytona for heat number 1. The 09 car holds the lead for the moment. The 84 trying to force him off the bottom. Benning getting the push once again from the 51. Inside line is not very well organized. Now Parsons jumps up to the outside line to get a push from the 43 of Snyder. It worked just a little bit, but now a 3 wide move by Benning. Poole in the middle. Benning on the inside. Parsons up on the outside. The 30 car now starting to get the advantage through the middle line with a push from the 36 of David Reagan. Poole clears the inside. What a push by the 36 car. Poole now tries to block the outside line of Snyder. That's Parsons in the 09. The field fighting for every last position that they can get, as everything is on the line. Currently, the 20th position is being held by the 42 car. The entire lead draft looks like they will advance into the Daytona 500, as the rest of the cars battling for the final few spots have lost the lead draft. Those include Reddick, Bubba Wallace, Johnny Sauter, and Christopher Bell, as Brendan Poole still your race leader above Stephen Parsons, the 36 car of David Reagan. As now Parsons jumps down to the inside, getting the run. 2, I guess you could say, underfunded Toyotas battling for the top spot here at Daytona. Definitely not the Toyotas that were anticipated to run up front. Most people were circling the Joe Gibbs cars but already early trouble for the 19 and 18 entries. Down the back straightaway, the 43 car of Snyder trying to give a push to the 30 of Brendan Poole. Looks like it's going to work. Poole once again clears the field. Derrick Cope up into third for the moment. Now the 30 and 43 cars have cleared the field, running single file. There's lap traffic up in front of the leaders, including Austin Cindric. In fact, that appears to be the only lap car up in front of the race leaders, but they're certainly going to get up to him before the end of this heat. Derrick Cope starting to lose time up on the outside line. 98 cars starting to drop back. The 36 on the inside line of David Reagan trying to take up third spot. Brendan Poole practically running qualifying laps at this point, staying up in front of the field. They've really found something special on the On Point Motorsports number 30 to be able to stay in front of this many well-prepared race cars, including Team Penske's number 2 of Matt DiBenedetto. A lot of underfunded teams showing up front here in heat number 1 because they know it's everything or nothing to make their season. They put everything together into these few cars. White flag is in the air. Brendan Poole currently a race leader. Lap car of Cindric up in front of the field. Derrick Cope back up in to the top 5. Lap car of Cindric within about half a second of the race leader. Where will Poole go? Poole gets blocked. Has to take evasive action down to the inside line. This is going to bring the whole pack back together. Outside line might be blocked now. Cindric blocking DiBenedetto. Down the backstretch, the 43 car trying to get the run. Pull up to the outside. Snyder on the inside. Stephen Parsons on the back bumper of the 43. Brendan Poole gets hung out on the top side. Parsons possibly going to try and make a move down to the inside. Coming back to the start-finish line. Parsons in line with Cope behind. At the start-finish line for heat number 1, it is Stephen Parsons to win Blue Green Vacations heat number 1 at Daytona. And how about this Cinderella story for Phoenix Racing continuing? They won the pole for the Next Air Energy 250, making the Camping World Truck Series race here at Daytona. Now in their Cup Series return, they win heat number 1. And it looks like some of the cars that were knocked out include 2311's Bubba Wallace, the 61 of Christopher Bell, the 44 of Johnny Sawyer. All those guys are going to have to try and make it in through the Xfinity Eliminator 10-lap dash after the end of heat number 2 later today. And Stephen Parsons has done it. He has won heat number 1 here at Daytona above Myatt Snyder. Derrick Cope with a great returning finish in third. How about Norm Benning in fourth? He has advanced into the Daytona 500. His first Cup start since 1993 at Darlington. Eric Amarola in fifth. Cody Ware making it in for Rick Ware Racing in sixth place. Jamie McMurray in seventh. Brendan Poole in eighth. Dropped all the way from first to eighth from the back stretch down to the start-finish line. Jan Magnuson in ninth, the Stage 1 winner. And Tyler Ankrum rounding out your top 10. And so the drivers that are going to have to try to make the Daytona 500 through the Xfinity Eliminator are Tyler Reddick, Johnny Sauter, Christopher Bell, Bubba Wallace, defending champion Kyle Busch, Landon Castle, 2017 Cup Series titleist Martin Truex Jr., Anthony Alfredo, defending Xfinity Series champion Austin Cindric, Chad Fincham, Noah Gragson, and Timothy Peters. And now, after just a quick commercial break, we're going to be right back here at Daytona International Speedway for heat number 2. NASCAR on Speed Station is being brought to you by RFJ, the official home of the RFJ AI series, by Knife Friend 725, the brains behind Project Retroval, and by Anthony's Online Simulation League. Hello everybody, welcome back to Daytona International Speedway for the running of the Blue Green Vacations heat number 2. Just like heat 1, the starting lineup for heat number 2 was determined by single car qualifying, and the finishing results from this heat will determine the outside row for the Daytona 500. Chase Elliott qualified second for the 500. He does not have to worry about today's heat to make the race, but still has to make a goal of finishing it so he doesn't have to go to a backup car for the 500. So he will start first for heat number 2 above Denny Hamlin, Ryan Newman, Clint Boyer, the 2019 Series champion, Greg Biffle, Brad Keselowski with a new team over at Hendrick Motorsports, Chris Buescher, Daniel Suarez, Kaz Gralla, and William Byron rounding out your top 10. And now let's get down trackside for the command.
Gentlemen, start your engine!
Get a rhythm. Get ready to rock and roll today. It's a long race. There will be a lot of pit stops. But just go out there, do what you got to do. No mistakes. That's the big thing today. Just no mistakes.
And the green flag is out for heat number 2 here at Daytona. Chase Elliott gets a great jump on the start. Ryan Newman now challenging Denny Hamlin for second. Elliott up to the outside line to try to block the 11 car of Hamlin. Down on the inside. Here comes the 6 car of Newman. Newman up to the back bumper of the 9. Down to the inside, getting the push from Greg Biffle in the number 69 car down the backstretch. Entering turn number 3, Newman and Elliott side by side. These two dueled for the 2020 Busch Clash victory. Here comes Greg Biffle trying to force Ryan Newman off the bottom line. Out of turn number 4. Let's see who's going to get it down the start-finish line to lead lap number 1. 9 car getting a run. And it's Chase Elliott to lead lap number 1 in heat number 2. Already trying to go 4 wide in the back. There you see the very aggressive Ricky Stenhouse Jr. on the bottom in the 47 car. Going 4 wide on Ellis, McDowell, and Allmendinger. Now Greg Biffle trying to make a move for the race lead down the back stretch. Biffle getting a push from the 6. Look at Hamlin shoving the 9 car out front. Chase Elliott clears the field once again. 17 car of Chris Buescher down on the inside. Yaley still going 4 wide in the back. Down to the stripe, 3 wide for the race lead. At the line is Buescher. Suarez trying to make it work down on the bottom, getting the push from the 50 car of Kaz Gralla. They wrecked right around lap number 4 of heat number 1. Let's hope we can make it a little bit longer in heat 2. Down the backstretch. They're already getting aggressive, and I guess I jinxed it. Wrecked down the backstretch. 48 car of Alex Bowman goes around. 55 of Chastain involved. 99 of Ryan Preece. 24 of William Byron. Yellow flag is out. In the race back to the caution, the 20 car of Brandon Jones making it work on the bottom. Jones out to the race lead. 96 of Drew Herring. Up to the back bumper, now to the inside. To the line. It is Brandon Jones, your race leader. 96 car of Drew Herring in second. Then Ricky Stenhouse Jr. third, Kaz Gralla fourth, and Kevin Harvick in fifth. No offense to the Cup Series drivers, but we made it through Cometic Gasket heat number 2 in the Camping World Truck Series with constant 4 wide moves, and not a single crash even happened in that race. But anyway, the 34 car makes contact with Yaley, spins Yaley up into the 24 car of Byron. Byron spinning carries the 48 car of Bowman with him. The 52 car gets it corrected down on the backstretch. The 55 car gets sent around. Preece in the 99 for Trackhouse makes contact with the 48. Ryan Preece attempting to qualify into the Daytona 500, attempting to give Trackhouse Racing its first start, already off on the wrong foot. And we have a couple lead lap cars coming down pit road. Denny Hamlin being the first one down. Also following him is Clint Boyer, Quinn Houff, and Ryan Blaney. I'd also imagine some of the cars involved in the incident will be pitting. In fact, all 4 of them are hitting pit road. How about Jimmy Johnson trying to qualify a 4th Chip Ganassi Racing car into the Daytona 500? Kurt Busch, his teammate, already made it in heat number 1. But I will say this. Jimmy Johnson wrecked out of the Daytona 500 in 2020 on lap number 6. He's trying to more or less avenge that loss. He doesn't want his final Daytona 500 to end so quickly. He wants to be running at the finish and have a shot at the win of his final Great American Race. Green flag. 20 car Brandon Jones off to a fantastic jump on the restart above the 96 of Drew Herring. 47 car Stenhouse down to the inside, going for second spot on the 96. Stenhouse has got help from the 4 car of Kevin Harvick. On the inside line, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. up in the second spot. Kevin Harvick trying to take up third in the 4. Down the backstretch, still the 20 car with a controlling lead. Here comes the 47 with a run down on the inside line. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. is now out front. But maybe not for too long, as now Kevin Harvick trying to pressure him on the exit of turn number 4. Stenhouse up to the outside line. Harvick on the bottom. At the stripe, it was still Stenhouse to lead the lap, but Harvick going to pressure him down into turn number 1. Kevin Harvick going for it, but here comes Daniel Suarez, 3 wide on the inside in the 00. Suarez takes up the top spot, exiting turn number 2. The 17 car of Buescher trying to take up second. Owen Suarez put into the sucker hole. Sent through the middle. Suarez quickly dropping back several spots, 47 and 17 battling for the top spot. Chris Buescher holds it for the moment. Chase Elliott trying to take advantage of the 17 car moving up to the outside. Down to the start-finish line. Close race for the top spot. It's going to be Buescher to lead the lap, but Elliott has help in line with his teammate, Brad Keselowski. But here comes Keselowski. Definitely not paying favorites right now. Brad Keselowski now out front here at Daytona. Ryan Newman up in the second. Keselowski up to the outside line to block the number 17. Ryan Newman with the push from the 3 car of Austin Dillon. Getting up side by side with the 88. Here comes LaJoie. 2 Spire Motorsports cars down on the inside. LaJoie and Justin Haley making up time very quickly. Ryan Newman now out front here at Daytona. Newman is your leader. Up to the middle line to block Austin Dillon. Here comes the 2 Spire Motorsports cars. Newman is the leader at the stripe. LaJoie going to take it on the front stretch. Corey LaJoie is now your leader. His teammate, Justin Haley, all over the back bumper, takes up second. BJ McLeod for the new Live Fast Motorsports up into third. LaJoie moves off the bottom to block the outside line. Haley now challenging him for the top spot. The Spire Motorsports cars have separated, but here comes the 78 down on the inside. BJ McLeod is now your leader here at Daytona. The 34 car of Michael McDowell into second. McDowell to the bottom. Michael McDowell scored his first career win in the second to last race of the 2020 Cup Series season, but now put into the middle by Timmy Hill. Timmy Hill takes the race lead, exiting turn number 2. Denny Hamlin, last year's 500 winner, up in the second. Now Hill up to the outside line. Hamlin getting the push from Kyle Larson down the backstretch. Larson up in the second. Clint Boyer in line, 3rd car on the inside line, trying to make what would be his final Daytona 500. Larson to the inside of Denny Hamlin. Larson getting the push from the 14 car of Boyer. At the stripe, it was Hamlin to lead the lap. Currently, the only car that has lost the draft is the 55 of Ross Chastain. Here comes Boyer. Down on the inside. Larson put into the sucker hole once again. The 14 car now out front. Boyer into the top spot. Down the back stretch, the 12 car of Ryan Blaney down on the inside. Blaney put into the middle by Ryan Preece in the 99. Remember, he spun around earlier in the race on lap number 3. Now on the inside line and up into second. Preece for Trackhouse Racing moves up into the middle line. J.J. Yaley on the bottom in Rick Ware's number 52. Made that mistake twice today. Now on the inside line, going 3 wide for second. Clint Boyer still controlling the race lead. Here comes Yaley with the push from William Byron. Yaley on the inside of Clint Boyer. Side by side with the 14. Hamlin giving a great push to Boyer. Boyer's going to try and clear him as now the 40 car of Quinn Half on the inside. Third car on the bottom lane. Now third place in the race. Trying to move Yaley off the bottom line. Hamlin holds second at the start-finish line. Clint Boyer still patrolling the field. Down on the inside line. Here comes the 40, but now the 00 sends it in on the bottom. The 11 car of Hamlin rolling great momentum up on the outside line with a push from Timmy Hill. 3 wide for the top spot. Suarez down on the inside line. Remember, just like heat number 1, this field will have to make at least one pit stop. Hamlin has cleared the field. Clint Boyer stuck in the middle line, dropping back very quickly. Here comes the 00 car of Suarez to the inside of Hamlin. Suarez side drafts Hamlin on the exit of turn number 4. Hamlin back up with a great pusher in Timmy Hill. At the line, it was Hamlin to lead the lap. Right in line behind the 00 car of Suarez is the 16 of Allmendinger, now to the inside. A 4-wide move being made by Clint Boyer, getting pretty dicey up front. Remember, pit stops are coming up very quickly. Odds are the field trying to get down to the bottom as quick as possible. Now the 50 car of Kaz Gralla down on the inside line with a teammate in line behind him. Boyer trying to make it work in the second lane. Kaz Gralla now out to the race lead. His teammate Austin Dillon running in second. 4 wide for second spot. Austin Dillon down on the bottom. Now 4 wide for the lead. Here comes Dillon with a great push from Kevin Harvick. And Boyer has managed to clear the 00 car, at least for the moment. He's no longer going 4 wide, but still we have 1 row going 4 wide. The 3 car of Austin Dillon now out front. The 4 car of Harvick on the inside. There's Joe Nemechek in the 97, getting a push from Ryan Ellis. Nemechek in the number 97. Comes out of turn number 4. He currently holds the race lead. They make contact up front. They keep it together. The field is coming down pit lane. Nemechek, Keselowski, and Larson hit pit road. I can't believe they managed to keep it together there. Kevin Harvick is now your race leader, above Suarez, who's building a run. Suarez to the inside, getting a push from Kaz Gralla. Suarez now out front. Gralla up into second. Hamlin trying to take up third. Suarez up to the outside line to block. Down on the inside line, here comes the 50 car of Kaz Gralla for RCR, getting the run with a push from Denny Hamlin. The field now starting to get back together. A couple more cars expected to come down pit road this time by. Who's it going to be? Looks like most of the leaders, the 50, the 16, the 32, and several others down pit road. Suarez stays out. Suarez, Harvick, and Hamlin now your top 3. These front runners have to come down pit road sometime very soon unless they're willing to gamble on their fuel enough to run out of gas and try to coast the thing back. Got to try not to burn up a cylinder doing this. Down the backstretch, they still seem to be under full power. The 11 car of Hamlin up to bump draft the 4 of Harvick. Harvick now out front. Hamlin trying to take up second off Suarez. Definitely going to have more of these front runners come down pit road this time by. This time around, it is Harvick with Stenhouse and Austin Dillon. Hamlin still on the racetrack with several other cars. Half and Suarez battle for second. Almost a LePaging incident right there. Got cars coming off pit road and cars running at full speed at the moment. Rather dicey. Denny Hamlin still your leader down the back straightaway. They're trying to split the fuel strategy straight in half. 00 cars falling off quickly. I believe the 66 is out of gas. Timmy Hill is out of gas down the back straightaway. That car is sputtering. Back up front, the 00's out. Looks like the top 3 cars are going to be able to make it down. They opt to stay out. Suarez hits pit road because he's out of gas. Same situation for the 66 if he can make it back. Hamlin still trying to extend his gas. Close moment right there with Ryan Newman, and especially with Justin Haley. But anyway, Hamlin still out front. Half in second spot. The 14 car of Bowyer running in third. Can they make it down the backstretch? Still under full power. They're definitely in conservation mode right now. Hamlin might be forced to stay up on the outside line. He cannot get down to the bottom. Hamlin's still on the racetrack. Remember that stage number 1 ends on lap 26. Hamlin, Half, Bowyer, and Byron are currently your top 4 runners. Hamlin's still trying to extend that fuel number. Half running up in second spot right now. How long can these front runners go on gas? Remember that Byron, Bowman, and Preece pitted a couple laps into the race due to crash damage. They might be able to go just a couple laps longer than you'd expect. Now the 11 and 40 cars down on the inside line. Looks like they might be able to pit this time by. Yes, they will. Except for the 99 of Ryan Preece. Preece will stay out. Bowyer as well is still on the racetrack. Some interesting fuel gambles late in the going in stage number 1. Some of these cars obviously did a much better job at saving than others. As you recall, Suarez, Timmy Hill, they ran out of gas on the backstretch a couple laps ago. The 14, 11, these guys did a much, much better job at fuel conservation. Here comes Bowyer down on the inside line. Looks like he might be able to come down pit road this time by. Yes, he is. Bowyer on the pit road. The 99 is going to come down as well. This is the battle for the race lead. We still have some of the leaders on pit road, but this will be the battle for the top spot. With now almost 2 laps to go, looks like the 50 car of Kaz Gralla going to take up the outside line, trying to get around the 40 of Quinn Half. Half getting the push from the 11 car of Hamlin. We have some cars coming off pit road at the moment, those being the 99 and 14. Kaz Gralla right now into the position to get around Bowyer and Preece. Now the field starting to catch up to the 99 car of Preece. Gralla easily up into second spot. The 99 car almost LePage's Joe Nemechek, but they managed to keep it together. Clint Bowyer right now is still your race leader. He's still in third gear. They're going to easily pass him on the outside line. Kaz Gralla now is your race leader, coming out of turn number 4 with just 2 laps to go in stage 1. Gralla is your leader at the stripe. The 40 car of Quinn Half running in second, getting the push from Kevin Harvick. On the inside line, here comes Ryan Ellis in the 32 car for Go Fast Racing. Remember, the 32 qualified outside pole for the 2020 Daytona 500. That team always puts together a fast car for speed weeks. The 11 car, Hamlin, the Daytona 500 winner of last season, up in the second spot, getting that run down the backstretch, up to the back bumper of the 50. Now to the inside. Hamlin takes up the top spot. Kevin Harvick right up to the back bumper. Ross Chastain trying to stay on the lead lap. As now we get 1 lap to go in stage number 1. Harvick onto the inside. Remember, they have the lap car of Chastain to deal with. Hamlin was the leader at the stripe. Joe Nemechek up into position. Where can they go to avoid Chastain? The slow number 55 car up in front of the field. Harvick down to the inside, now up into the middle. Harvick gets blocked. The 17 car of Chris Buescher takes the race lead down the backstretch. Down on the inside, here comes Chase Elliott trying to set up a move on Buescher. Elliott getting pushed by Greg Biffle. 4 wide move by Ryan Preece down on the bottom. racing back to the start-finish line for stage number 1. Elliot moves off the bottom. Here comes Biffle with a run. At the line, Greg Biffle wins stage number 1 in Blue Green Vacations heat number 2 here at Daytona. Elliot in second. 7 car of LaJoy in third. The 3 of Austin Dillon in fourth, and the 14 of Clint Boyer in fifth. So far, nobody has dropped out of heat number 2. The only car that's 1 lap down is Ross Chastain. So it seems like Chastain's hopes of making the 500 through heat 2 are kind of diminishing at this point. But we still could get the big one, which is yet to happen in heat number 2. Clint Boyer looks like he will be staying out while most of the leaders hit pit road. Boyer's going to stay out above Half, Priest, Hamlin, and Bowman. First car off pit road is Greg Biffle getting out in front of Austin Dillon, then Corey LaJoy, Eric Jones, Chris Buescher, and it looks like Chase Elliott. So currently, some of the notable drivers on the outside of the transfer position looking in are the 77 of Justin Haley, 16 of A.J. Allmendinger, 96 of Drew Herring, 34 of Michael McDowell, 20 of Brandon Jones, the 92, the 7-time champion Jimmy Johnson, runner-up in points last season Kyle Larson, Yaley, Chastain even 1 lap down. A lot of people on the outside looking in, but remember, with 10 laps to go after the restart, a lot can change. The only one who's going to have the hardest time is Chastain, being 1 lap behind the leader. Now, because Boyer, Hamlin, Bowman, and several others were able to stretch their fuel so far during stage number 1, they did not have to pit under the stage caution. So what that means is they have earned themselves track position. Now, they might be at a little bit of a tire deficit, and if things get too dicey late in the going, say the 14 car leads a bunch and doesn't get in the draft, could potentially be on the edge of running out of gas. But it's still a great strategy. It's given them track position, and you have to run these races on the edge, because if you drop behind 20th position and you're not one of the front row starters for the 500, you have to go to the Xfinity Eliminator, and only one driver makes it out of that, so you're practically going home. Green flag, just 10 laps to go here at Daytona. The 40 car of Quinn Half already jumps up to the outside line. Same thing with the 55 car of Chastain, but he's 1 lap down. Here comes Half to the inside of Boyer. Entering turn number 1, looks like Quinn Half is going to take the lead. Ryan Preece in the number 99 car, getting the run up to the back bumper of the 40. But looks like Bowman takes a look down to the inside of the 99. Preece is stuck without help in the middle line. Not very much organization going on right now between the lanes. Boyer clears the field as now the 99 gets put into the middle. Hamlin cuts straight down to the inside line into third spot. Down on the bottom. Now the inside line has formed. The 40 car jumps up to the outside. The 11 car down on the inside, going to take up second. Trying to get that run on the 14 car of Boyer. Here he comes down to the bottom. Hamlin won his respective heat race last season and then went on to win the Daytona 500. Trying to do the same here in Speed Weeks of 2021, but here comes Bowman down on the inside in the 48. Alex Bowman in the number 48 car takes the race lead. The 00 of Suarez into second. You are witnessing all 32 cars in the hunt with less than 10 laps to go. Yaley looks like he's going to be the only car to lose the draft. 00 of Suarez led at the start-finish line. Here comes Biffle down on the bottom, the Stage 1 winner. Greg Biffle is going to take the race lead. There you see Quinn Half stuck in the middle of the number 40. Corey LaJoy down to the inside of Greg Biffle down the backstretch. LaJoy getting the push from the 17 of Chris Buescher. LaJoy up into the top spot. Through 3 and 4, the 17 car of Buescher tries to make the look down to the inside. Buescher getting the shove from the 88 car of Brad Keselowski at the line. It was Greg Biffle to lead the lap. Down to turn number 1. It looks like the 17 car of Busch is going to have the advantage. Keselowski in the Hendrick Motorsports number 88 to the inside. Keselowski getting some help from a technical teammate, the 47 of Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Now he gets put in the middle. Stenhouse on the bottom. Newman up to the middle lane. Stenhouse not with very much help, but he's going to take the lead entering turn number 3. The 16 car of Allmendinger trying to get up to the back bumper of that 47. Jimmy Johnson's currently on the outside looking in the number 92. Stenhouse controlling the lanes. Down on the inside line, here comes A.J. Allmendinger with a push from the 20 of Brandon Jones. A.J. takes the top spot, exiting turn number 2, but they will be side by side down the backstretch. The 17 of Buescher giving the shove to the 47 of Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Looks like it's working down the backstretch. A huge push to the 47 car of Stenhouse. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. once again has cleared the field, going to try and control the lanes. There you see Boyer jumps down to the middle line. He was on the outside. Down the front stretch. Now just 5 laps to go. It looks like Ryan Preece is going to lose the lead draft. On the bottom line, here comes the 20 of Brandon Jones, getting the push from a fellow Toyota of Drew Herring to the inside of Stenhouse. They timed the run perfectly right there. Jones out to the race lead, now up to the outside line to block Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Here comes the 96, down on the bottom, the Gaunt Brothers car of Drew Herring. Side by side with the 20, Timmy Hill up to the back bumper of the 96. Hill down to the bottom, trying to make it a 3-wide move for the top spot. 3 wide at the line. It is Brandon Jones to lead the lap. Jones getting a great push from Stenhouse Jr. entering turn number 1, trying to cut the field off. Can't quite do it. Too big of a run out of the 66. The 47 and 20 cars have separated. Timmy Hill out to the race lead in the MBM number 66. William Byron in line, moves up to the middle lane. The 66 car trying to side draft. Now a 4-wide move for the race lead by Justin Haley, the Xfinity Series regular, making his move all the way up to the Cup Series this year to run for Rookie of the Year honors. He doesn't have much help down there on the bottom. Back down to groups of 3 wide. Brandon Jones clears the field down the front stretch. Hendrick Motorsports and the number 24 of William Byron trying to get the run down on the bottom. That Joe Gibbs Toyota of Brandon Jones still patrolling all the lanes out front. No lap cars up in front of the field either. It looks like the 99 car of Preece will lose the lead draft. Here comes Timmy Hill up in the second spot. He clears the field as well. Cuts down to the inside. Crossover move. There's a Roush Yates engine under the hood of the 66 for this weekend. Trying to not only make the Daytona 500, but win heat number 2 at the stripe. Just 2 laps to go. Side by side, it was Jones at the stripe. Here comes William Byron. The pack is reformed. Byron with the run all the way down to the bottom. 3 wide for the top spot once again. Byron getting the push from the 77 car of Justin Haley. The 20 going to try and make a huge run down the backstretch once again. He's got his pusher in line behind him. That being Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Can't quite clear the 24 car of Byron. Side by side for the top spot. Nemechek now dropping out of the transfer spot. Down the front stretch, Byron and Jones side by side. White flag is in the air. At the line, it was still Jones to lead the lap. We had another car hit pit road this time by. Couldn't really tell who that was. That might have actually just been the 99 car slow in the back of the field, but now battling side by side is William Byron and the 20 car. 00 might be out of gas. Quickly slowing down. Byron now holding the race lead down the backstretch. That 47 giving the 20 car a huge push, trying to clear Byron, entering turn number 3, side by side still for the top spot. Byron does not have very much help down on the inside. Side by side, back down to the start-finish line. The 20 car has the push, and it's going to be Brandon Jones to win heat number 2 here at Daytona. A Gibbs car has won at least one heat race here at Daytona for the last 3 seasons. Incredible job by Brandon Jones in his second full-time season, starting off the year right with a heat number 2 victory. Incredible battle there at the finish between him and Byron. And how about this headline? Denny Hamlin, last year's 500 winner, is currently on the outside looking in. And we have a wreck. Hamlin gets turned around after the finish of heat number 2, but Hamlin has to make it into the Daytona 500 through the Xfinity Eliminator. And only one driver is going to make it in through that race. And Brandon Jones has won heat number 2 here at Daytona International Speedway above William Byron, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Timmy Hill with a great upset in 4th place, Brad Keselowski, Drew Herring, Justin Haley, Chris Buescher, Kyle Larson, and Michael McDowell rounding out your top 10. And the drivers that have to make the Daytona 500 through the Xfinity Eliminator are Kaz Gralla, Austin Dillon, Ryan Blaney, Ryan Ellis, Eric Jones, Joe Nemechek, last year's 500 winner Denny Hamlin, Alex Bowman, Clint Boyer going for his final Daytona 500, Ryan Preece, Daniel Suarez, who fell that far back due to miscalculation on the fuel strategy, ran out of gas coming out of turn 2 on the last lap, and Ross Chastain. All those drivers are going to have to go for the final transfer spot, which will be 42nd starting position for the 500. And now, after just another quick commercial break, we'll be coming back right here at Daytona International Speedway for the 10-lap Xfinity Eliminator, practically a last-chance qualifier for the final spot in the Daytona 500. NASCAR on Speed Station is being brought to you by RFJ, the official home of the RFJ AI series, by Knife Friend 725, the brains behind Project Retroval, and by Anthony's Online Simulation League. Welcome back to Daytona International Speedway for the running of the second annual Xfinity Eliminator. In the race analysis, the Xfinity Eliminator is a 10-lap dash to the finish that cannot end under caution, which the field is composed of every single car that did not make it into the Daytona 500 through Heat 1 or Heat 2. So that means we have 24 cars in this race, including past NASCAR champions, past Daytona 500 winners. All 24 of them, over the course of 10 laps, are going for only one spot. The race winner of this race gets to be in 41st position for the Daytona 500. And that's the only person advancing through this event. So the starting lineup for the Xfinity Eliminator was determined by the finishing positions of the drivers 20th on back in each respective heat race. So we have Tyler Reddick starting first above teammate Kaz Gralla, then Johnny Sauter, Austin Dillon, Christopher Bell, Ryan Blaney, Bubba Wallace, Ryan Ellis, defending champion Kyle Busch, and Eric Jones rounding out the top 10. And keep in mind, throughout the entirety of these 10 laps, only the race winner makes the Daytona 500. No one else in this event. And now let's go down trackside for the command.
Drivers, start your engines!
All right, boys, just like we talked about in the meeting, what's going to pay off for us today is patience and consistency. Good, smooth racing on the racetrack, and that's what will take us up to the front. We'll be there at the end of this thing.
And the green flag is out for the second annual Xfinity Eliminator here at Daytona. Just 10 laps to decide the starting grid for the Daytona 500. And only one spot up for grabs. Here comes Christopher Bell already down to the inside of Johnny Sauter. 3 wide move by Bell. The field already completely fanning out. Bell in the 61 getting a run from a fellow Toyota driver, Bubba Wallace in the 23. Bell down to the inside. Down the long back straightaway, 3 Toyotas on the inside line. Bell, Wallace, and Kyle Busch. 3 wide for the top spot. Entering turn number 3, it is now Christopher Bell taking up the top spot. There you see Noah Gragson in the back making up quite a few positions in that 62 car. Now Bell up to the outside line to block. Lap number 1 will be led by Christopher Bell. 23 car Bubba Wallace down on the inside line. But now Kyle Busch forces the field 4 wide. Remember, it's all or nothing. You have to win this race to make the 500. Kyle Busch, your defending champion, now out front. In line behind Kyle Busch is Landon Castle in the number 89. Still running 4 wide for second spot. Castle going to take up the position. Castle down the inside now, trying to make up a pass for the lead on the 18 car. Down the front straightaway. Busch and Castle side by side for the top spot. It's going to be Castle, as Kyle Busch now dropping back into the mess of the pack. Now here comes Anthony Alfredo down on the inside, getting a push from Austin Cindric. Alfredo now out front. Cindric down to the inside. 21 car of Austin Cindric down the backstretch. In line behind him is the number 62 of Noah Gragson. And there's Timothy Peters in the 87. Austin Cindric for the Wood Brothers is now out front. 62 car up into second. Down the front straightaway, the 21 car moves up off the bottom. 62 of Gragson side by side. At the line it was Cindric. Noah Gragson now into the top spot, but on the inside line is Timothy Peters in the 87 for Nemco. Peters is now out front. Chad Fincham into second. Fincham down the back straightaway to the inside. But here comes Suarez all the way on the bottom in the 00 car, getting a push from Martin Truex Jr. Remember, if Truex does not make this, that means he will have missed the Daytona 500 for 3 consecutive seasons. Truex now down to the inside. At the line, it is going to be too close to call at the stripe. Scoring gives it to Suarez to lead the lap. But here comes Ryan Preece down on the inside, the 99. Preece is now your race leader. Here comes the 48 car of Alex Bowman down on the bottom, and the defending Daytona 500 champion Denny Hamlin. Now Preece battling side by side with the 19. Here comes Bowman with a huge run on the bottom. Truex trying to clear the field. Now Clint Boyer up in the third spot in the 14 car. At the line this time by, there's only 5 laps to go. Martin Truex Jr. trying to control the lead, as now Clint Boyer up into second. There comes Boyer on the bottom, getting a push from Johnny Sauter. Boyer up into the top spot, Sauter running in second, Joe Nemechek into third. Boyer moves off the bottom, Sauter now onto the inside. Here comes Sauter up to side draft, now down to the inside line. Johnny Sauter, for the moment, is out front. Bubba Wallace drops all the way down to the tail end of this draft. Same situation for Kyle Busch in the 18. At the line, it is Johnny Sauter to lead lap number 6. Down the inside line, here comes Joe Nemechek in the 97. Joe Nemechek is now your race leader here at Daytona. The 61 car of Bell back up into second. Austin Dillon, the 2018 Daytona 500 champion, down on the inside line, pushing the number 61. 3 by 3 all throughout the field. Christopher Bell is going to take the race lead, entering turn number 3. Already the 3 car of Dillon trying to make the look down to the inside. Dillon has help from an RCR teammate. And remember that all 3 Richard Childress Racing cars are in this last chance qualifier. At the line, it was a bit too close to call. Scoring gives it to Bell. But because only one driver is going to make it in, Childress will have to settle for at least just 1 car making it in, and at worst, none. Now Gralla up to the top spot. Ryan Ellis trying to make the look down to the inside. Ellis down the back straightaway, getting a push from Tyler Reddick. Kyle Busch and Bubba Wallace, the 2 Toyotas hooked up, quickly making up a lot of ground. Ellis still your leader. 18 car drafts right up to the back bumper of the 8. Ellis moves off the inside line. Not much help up on the top side. At the line with just 2 laps to go. I believe it might have been Reddick. Yes, it was. Tyler Reddick now jumps up to the outside line. Here comes the Toyotas on the bottom. Kyle Busch, your defending champion, is now out front into the only transfer position. Here comes Bubba Wallace down on the inside line. The Toyotas have separated. The 89 car of Landon Castle makes it 3 wide. Castle all the way down on the bottom. A 3 wide move by Peters near the back. And now Landon Castle is out front, coming down to the white flag. Ross Chastain on the inside. At the line, Castle led the lap. White flag is out. Only 1 lap to go and 1 spot up for grabs. Here comes Noah Gragson on the inside. Gragson takes the race lead. Austin Cindric all over the back bumper. Gragson moves up to the outside line to try to block the 55 car of Chastain. The inside line has fallen apart, trying to side draft that 21. And now here comes Suarez. The 00 car of Daniel Suarez down on the inside line. 87 car of Timothy Peters on the bottom. They're going to be side by side down to the start-finish line. The 00 does not have that much help. At the line, it is going to be Suarez. Daniel Suarez is the only driver to advance into the Daytona 500, and around goes Preece. Joe Nemechek has spun Ryan Preece around, still making contact. And how about that for Daniel Suarez in the 00 car, advancing into the Daytona 500 by just a nose above Timothy Peters. And here's the battle down to the start-finish line on the final lap between the 00 and 87 cars. Just this little much between the 00 and 87. That's the difference between making the Daytona 500 and heading home. Suarez, the only driver to advance. And finally, after the checkered flag, a 4-wide move was made by Joe Nemechek down on the inside. The 99 car of Preece cuts down on him. Nemechek does not move, makes contact with the 99's left rear quarter panel, sending Preece around, entering turn number 1 and through the front stretch logos. A very disappointing debut for Trackhouse Racing. They spun out in their heat race. They have not made the Daytona 500. They were even crashed after the finish of the Xfinity Eliminator. And Daniel Suarez has won his way into the Daytona 500 by only 23 one-thousandths of a second above Timothy Peters. 91 thousandths of a second behind Daniel Suarez was Chad Fincham as well. Noah Gragson finishes 4th. Martin Truex Jr. once again for the 3rd consecutive season misses the Daytona 500. Austin Cindric's out. Last year's 500 winner Denny Hamlin will not be able to sweep. Ross Chastain will not make it. Bubba Wallace, the first ever attempted start for 23XI Racing. They'll be heading home and back up to Charlotte. Landon Castle did not make it. Same situation for Alfredo, Johnny Sauter, defending champion Kyle Busch, Ryan Blaney, Ryan Preece, who was spun after the checkered flag, Tyler Reddick, Joe Nemechek, Alex Bowman, Ryan Ellis, Clint Boyer trying to make his final Daytona 500 will not be in the Daytona 500 unless somebody gives up their spot to him. Say McLeod, who is in a line Stewart-Haas car, decides not to run the race for Boyer. It would still be the number 78, but Boyer would be the driver. That's a possible situation. But why would McLeod give up the spot that he rightfully earned into the 500? Eric Jones did not make it, neither did Bell, Kaz Gralla, or Austin Dillon. And from all of us here at the Speed Station, we hope that you have enjoyed qualifying week of Speed Weeks. The next time you will be seeing us is for the NextEra Energy 250 right here at Daytona International Speedway, the first points race of the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series season.